So I want to talk about recovery and meetings and Narcotics Anonymous and yeah, my journey to recovery, because I did go to Narcotics Anonymous for, I think it was just over 10 years, near enough I went. And I would have a few years clean time, then I would use I don't know, I would go out and have a drink or something, then I'd have to start all over again, and then it would be back to square one. And um but the thing was, with Narcotics Anonymous, it did help me when I first started, when I first got clean. It did help me, I'm not going to lie, or NA. But what I'm trying to say is, I didn't get it. I didn't get the 12 steps. I didn't get the written work. It just didn't sink in for me. So I had to go down, the spiritual route, the healing route, Reiki, and knowing about getting to know myself at a soul level. I didn't find doing the 12 steps, like, I just didn't get it. And yeah, that's okay. And I actually did feel a bit guilty to start with. I'm like, oh, I'm not in with the NA crew, and I'm never going to get this. It's never going to stick with me. I just didn't understand what the 12 steps is saying to me. And I just didn't understand. And this is my message, that is okay, because some people have to recover a totally different way. Like, I had to recover a totally different way from Narcotics Anonymous. And yeah, it gave me a good foundation. Yeah, it got me clean, and it builded a different life way of living, and meeting other like-minded people. And that was really good in that to begin with. But I still just didn't get it. I was actually just going at the end. It was just basically like a social club for me, and meeting my friends. And I just wasn't getting it. I just felt I wasn't moving forward in my recovery journey. So for me, I had to leave, and I did feel guilty. I did feel that I'm not the same as them, and I'm not ever gonna get it, and I'm maybe just gonna be one of them addicts is gonna die an addict because I didn't get it. And I would hear a lot of it at the time. They'd be slating other recovery ways, and I'd be thinking, oh, I better, if I didn't get it anyway, I'm never gonna get it, and things like that. And I'm just here to tell you, that's shite. It's absolute shite. There is many ways to recover, and we've all got our different ways to recover. Do you know what I mean? Some people do get any, and that's great. I would never diss any, but for some people, they just don't get it, and they go out and use again. Well, I don't want that happening. I want people knowing that there is definitely other ways to recover. And yeah, there is another network of people who are on the same awakening journey as you, and is recovering a different way from Narcotics Anonymous. Because I've met a lot of people who've recovered, and some people who actually recover in this, they can have a drink now and again. I'm not saying that works for everyone, because it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Some people have to stay abstinent and until they actually start awakening, getting to know themselves, and then they'll realize, then they can decide from there when they've a sound mind. Because when you've been in addiction for many years, it takes a good couple of years before you recover, like, mentally, before you really, like, come out of it. It does take a while to recover, but yeah, I just didn't find it that I was growing. Do you know what I mean? And so I had to go down the spiritual route and find my soul tribe. Do you know what I mean? Because yeah, they got it. Do you know what I mean? There was others who was in the same predicament as me, who didn't really take to any, because they just didn't understand the 12 steps and things. So yeah, it's just to let you know there is different ways to recover, and not to feel guilty if it doesn't work for you, because I felt that way. And I'm just saying that, yeah, there is a point where you're just like, it just isn't working for me, so I need to try something else. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want other people thinking, oh, they can't recover just because that certain recovery didn't work for you. It doesn't have to be any, just whatever recovery is working for you. Try other recovery routes, because there are so many, like smart recovery, this recovery, go down the spiritual route, getting to know yourself. Or was a Reiki journey for me. I was finding, like, all your gifts come online. You know what I mean? Some people just didn't have got different ways to recover, and that is okay. That really is okay, and there's nothing wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? Because I used to think, oh no, I'm not doing it right. I ain't got it. I'm never gonna recover. I'm just gonna die an addict. Well, it's shite. That was just my ego trying to keep me safe. And they wanting to branch out and reach out and, but what was out after fear, do you know what I mean? I was in fear of like, oh, if I do this wrong, oh, if I'm not doing it anyway, or if I'm not doing it that way, if I'm not doing it, and keep getting ruining. No, no, you'll get to understand as you recover, that there's different paths, and some people just are just not meant for meetings. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay, because I thought, I would hear it when I was in meetings. Oh, if you didn't go to meetings, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? So that's like program yourself to die. No, fucking no. There's more ways to recover. And yeah, it doesn't matter what way you recover, as long as you recover. Do you know what I mean? Fuck all of them with the fucking opinions of this way, you have to recover that way, or you're not clean because you're not blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking shite. It's all shite. It really is all shite. So yeah, and another thing, I didn't like talking about my life, constantly talking about everything I'd been through, constantly talking about the shite. No, like that's constantly bringing up your shite the time, and it doesn't work. For some people, it doesn't work. That's just manifesting you to get more shite in your reality. Do you know what I mean? But I try not to diss it, because when I diss it, because it did help me build a solid foundation to find the actual way that I needed to recover. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't like some of the things that are said. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you'll never recover, you didn't do it that way. No, you can recover. There's all different ways, and we're all different in this human experience. Do you know what I mean? Fuck if we're all the same. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought I'd do a longer video, because I did do a reel about it, but I thought I would go into a bit more detail how I really feel about, recovering out, and recovering out loud as well, letting others know that the recovery is possible. It is really possible. Like, I thought, like, I was in addiction, I was injecting heroin, I was drinking daily, I was in and out of hospitals, having seizures, I had, what was it, an enlarged liver. By the time I went into rehab, I was broken. You know what I mean? I was in 3 different rehabs. The third one was the one that showed me, the 12 steps. It was a 12 step. The other 2 was therapeutic rehabs. But yeah, I had to go through 3 rehabs to sort of find my way. Do you know what I mean? But the third one was the one that sort of sunk in. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die. I was at a point where I wanted to die. And I, just like you, maybe, if I was had maybe his thoughts, I'd just rather die than hate to experience this shit. No, there is a way out. There's always a way out, and never to give up. Never give up in this journey, because if I gave up, do you know what I mean? It would have been easy. It would have been easy, and I would have been kicking myself, because, I know that there's more to this reality than we've been taught. Do you know what I mean? And now I've seen that there's more to this. I'm just making the best of what I've got. Do you know what I mean? I'm learning every day. I've just written a book, where spiritual beings having a human experience. I'm on my 2nd book, and I've started a publishing business, and done digital products and things like that. So yeah, if someone said, like, if they knew me, like, I don't know, about 14 years ago, they would have says this was impossible. They wouldn't have, like, myself, my other self, like, my version of me that had to go through all that, would have says, oh, can you imagine, in 12, 14 years time, you'll be living on an island, you'll be writing books, creating digital products, and starting your own publishing business. I would have says, I get fuck. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Anything is possible. If you're sitting there right now and you're in addiction, just know something. There is a way out. There's always a way out. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you're going through. It could be loss. It could be mental health. It could be chronic illness, because I've been through it all. And I'm telling you, there's a way out. There is a way to fucking recover. And yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. Yeah, you can recover definitely from anything, from any trauma, from any illness, from any loss, from anything. You can recover and make a beautiful life for yourself and your family, and for anyone that loves you. So yeah, much love always. Bye.